Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well out there. I'm sitting here in LA in the rain, and for a long time I have been trying to get this young lady here to come on and share some of everything she knows. And first thing I'm going to tell her is to turn off her speakers. The echo. Some of you outside of Germany, despite the fact that this woman has written, 11 or 12 books now. Christel, how many books did you write? 11, 12?
12 books already. One is in work. And
history books, everything from the East Wall to something a lot more special that we're going to talk about today. And
right.
Like I said, for a while, and I am so damn happy that I finally got you talked into coming on here with me, because there's so many things I want to ask, and there's so many things people ask me that I can't answer, because you are really the specialist on what is going on underground in especially Jonastal, and especially in some of these special project sites that I've been trying to document what's on top of. You have been crawling around, literally crawling around, dragging yourself through mud and dirt and water, trying to do GPS and research of what's going on underneath.
I must translate it for myself. Hello at first, and welcome to my channel and to see what we do here with Tino. It's wonderful to have contact, and maybe I think we have a lot of themes to talk about that, and I will do it like open end, and I hope you have the time too. But so what we can talk is everything about that, and maybe we find an entrance to this theme. The problem is for us that we are only digging in closed history by the government, and so we must have very special entrance and have a look for that. And it's step by step we go deeper and deeper.
And that's one of the things you've been looking for the longest time, because of what is actually underground in the whole area of the Truppenübungsplatz, Jonastal, and around it, and the towns around it, because it's been suspected. And like the books that was written by even Americans after the war, like Lucky 3, and that denotes they saw something huge underground, and it's just been covered up. It's been denied by everybody. Nobody wants to talk about it, except for all the eyewitnesses, which they, have conveniently enough just deemed. Like governments, they always ignore eyewitnesses if it doesn't suit them. And from the time of the war, there's been so many eyewitnesses that have seen this, and the government don't, the archives don't. So you started looking for this long before I did. How did that all start?
I start 30 years before. And the problem is for us, we must take every one mosaic stone, small, found here one, found there one, and then we get a picture together. But it is very, very hard to go in history what other want to show. No, that is a problem. Where the archives are closed for us to go in and say, oh, show me what you have. They say no. The problem is the government don't want to open it. And the problem is the Russians and the Americans has not enough time to go inside this area. And the Russians have 50 years to go inside. And when you have a tunnel and you have a break in the tunnel by explosion, then you must understand if you go in or you don't go in. And it is easy to not go in. And then they don't know what is behind this explosion. And the German closed every tunnel, what is going up from the main tunnel to the side, where is a factory for rockets, where's a factory for planes, or where's an underground airport. That is all closed for years. And if you don't want to go in and dig there, you don't know what is behind.
So basically what happened towards the end of the war was that what we see in Jonastal today, those little 25 tunnels, are almost like a diversion. They're not it.
you must make it different. The difference between Jonastal, what you see with the tunnels, and the difference about the area AWO, we talk, Arnstadt, Wechmar, Ohrdruf. That is a area of the Truppenübungsplatz where the army is working. And so when you put it outside, when you don't say it together, Jonastal is starting to work on November 1944. They have only using the work in so maybe 4 months. That's 20 tunnels are made by 4 months, but it's not that what we talk about. That is a second or a third part of working there. We know, or we search for the first part of working, and we have information that will start on 1932 or earlier.
Yeah. So this plan precedes Hitler. Who started this? This was this military? Was this military industry? They started to do this in 32. Talk us through it.
I think there's everything. There is military, there is factory, there is storage, there is SS, there is Kammler, there is everything there. But on this side is one, this side is the other, and this side is the other. It's too big, this area. And the problem is, at last, they put all together and made a defense place for Hitler outside. And what we have found now in American and Russian archive is the information that this area maybe is the Alpenfestung. What everyone is searching in Austria or Bavaria is in Thüringen.
And I actually felt a little silly when I say, was it military or was it industry? Because we all know that military and industry, they go hand in hand together.
Right.
Then, now, still. So they went there to develop or to build, construct. What were they eventually trying to do?
The problem is your experience by the hand is wonderful, but sometimes the left hand don't know what the right hand do. That is the question, and the problem is we have an area with underground factories, everything from all, but we know it. We don't know it all, but at last they put together and want to make a bigger one. And so we don't know what is there right now. That is a problem. We found here something, we found here some, we have found a rocket, we found a plane, we found a factory. But the problem for us is that it's only stones by a mosaic. And we don't know everything. This pictures is not filling up. We have so much space between what is not one stone.
And I will tell everybody, we're going to show you some videos and we're going to show you some pictures here. But for everybody, even those who don't speak German, I say you need to go to your channel, if you're not already looking there, because the way you show, you do GPR everywhere. And the way you present the items that you find, compare them to what the piece of machinery is and looks like. It's amazing. And you don't need to speak German to see. That's why I love the way you present things, because people can see exactly what it is the GPR is finding. And
but the problem, we have one big problem. Till now, everything what we searched, what we found, is only a few in the georadar. The problem for us is 2016 we'll be digging in Poland for the gold train. The people say, or the press made a gold train. What we found is only a tank train. And the computer of georadar don't think, oh, why you want to see here something, I made a train or I made a plane or something else. We found it and it's there. But the problem is we don't know at this moment that Roosevelt and Stalin make 1944 in Potsdam a new law. The law is everything what you found behind the war is ours by the Allied. And so the Putin comes to this digging there and say, oh, the gold train is our, and when you have that, we take the gold. And so the Poles say, before we have gold here to Putin, there is no gold train, and so we go there with the press. And that is, we stop the digging by, we can't dig so deep. That is the main problem for us now. Then we have no, what we dig out and show, oh, here's a georadar painting, and here is that area what we dig for. And that is the problem, we have no real. And so we can only put our georadar and hope for the time where we can dig and where we can say, here is our radar, and that what we see is now founding. That is our problem to now. And so the people was not so trust us. They will be right. I will say it. They will be right. Before we have nothing in our hands, this is only our pictures what we search for, but it is not a real heart what we can take it. That is our problem.
Of course, because you can't start. They won't let. Of course, they won't let you dig for it if they think there's gold on board, because they will have to hand it over to the Russians, which the Polish are not going to do. So I understand the political. That means the Polish are going to do it in secrecy when no one's looking, basically, doesn't it? Yeah. Theoretically. So that's gold. That's me. I understand that. But you found several indications of nuclear bombs found in Jonastal. And now I understand some years ago, there was the ones that was found, that you guys found, and they disappeared. I understand that. But there's a lot more to that story as well.
By our group searching, I must tell, we are a group, and I was a leader or so on. How many you will take it, say it? So our group has now a new story about the history. We found the atomic bomb in Jonastal, and the georadars say it is the real bomb, like the little boy. That is very interesting. We can see it show inside. And the American make one mistake in the history of 1956. They made a video how it works, the atomic bomb. And in this video, there is a part, they show the bomb inside. And that is only what we have with our georadar. Inside is the same one. And that is maybe the small mistake what we can use on my site, German, in Deutsch, deutsche-atombombe.de. I have the site where it is explained what is wrong on this story. And we have other points that maybe, perhaps, it is only perhaps, we must thinking it. We have no right, the American don't say, okay, you are right. And so we must think about. And so on what we found is a break in the timeline of the atomic bomb from the first explosion on New Mexico till the explosion on Nagasaki. There is a break, and the break is a bomb of Hiroshima. All bombs from the American are plutonium bombs. Only one bomb, Hiroshima, is an uranium bomb. And that is a very hard break. By the Germans will be worked on a uranium bomb, and the American work by the plutonium bomb. So that is for me a wonderful thing to say, okay, we are right, but we have not the political and archive material. The problem is the American archives on this point will be safe for the next 50 years. Why?
Well, because I'm sure the Americans don't like, first of all, to admit that it was the National Socialists who detonated the first nuclear device. And I don't think they're going to like admitting, which is ridiculous, because at this point in history, it doesn't matter where the bomb came from. It's just a matter of pride of ownership of who did it first. And I'm sure there's some political fallout, but they're all dead, so it shouldn't matter. But we saw what the Alsos team even said they found at Stadt Ilm and other places. But a lot of the things in Jonastal was covered up before the Americans got there. All the underground
there's one sentence you say is wonderful. Also, the chief of the ISOs was sitting in the picture behind the bomb where they built on the bomb. It's wonderful. The little boy is lying there, and two people are screw there something, and behind is Groves in the picture. And Groves is the same picture with Roosevelt in Potsdam, and he stayed behind him. So why everything is not saying that the bomb is German?
I was always under the impression that the Alsos team's report was they were sent out to find things the Americans could use, and the report became a whitewash to literally say, no, the Germans didn't do it, they didn't have it, nothing to see here. That was the whitewash report. And then they took the materials, like the 11 tons of uranium ore they took from the Auerwerke before the Russians got there, and brought all of this to America.
You can tell it more easily. The winner writes the history.
Lies have long legs. Was that Goering who said that?
Yeah, that's right.
Great, we're now quoting Goering. It's starting to be a good Sunday. So do you think the Russians in the 50-some years they occupied the area? They found anything?
Yes, they found something, but we don't know what. That is the same like you did for a treasure. When I see the most films in YouTube with treasure hunting, and they show what they found, gold and some other, and that's fakes. When you find a treasure, you will not say anything, and nobody about that. And when you hunt for something and you dig there and you find a treasure of gold, then you don't make a signs there. Here I am. Found this treasure, you don't have dig there, it's gone. You don't do that. The Russians don't do that the same. That is the problem. We don't know what they take out for them. But what we found the planes, what we found the rockets, that they don't found not. When they found from them, it will be gone. That is, the Russian takes everything out what they found.
And if you told the German authorities today what you found and where, that would disappear as well.
No. The most points where I searched for, or my group search, I was made it in press. But where the group searched for is not going the area. We don't say here on this point we search. We only say what we found. But the problem is for us, we don't want that anyone wants to dig there. That is, we don't say where the place is.
Of course.
The problem is, I know every place, persons. When you say there is a hole and there you must go in, that is wonderful. You must wait 1 week and it is open. That is it. And that we don't want. That we don't want. The problem for me is I was an historian in by law. I have a license in Brandenburg, and so I want to make my work like their law and like their rules. And for me, it is I'm sitting between two chairs, and at one I will declare everything. I will tell it here is something. Please make it like historian place. And what they say, oh, it's no interested. Thank you. But in this moment, when we declare it, then we have the problem when someone is digging it. Then it is offered, and so we must tell nobody where the place is, and nobody ask us. I will tell it, no problem. But I will tell it to the audience outside and to have the chance that somebody is digging there.
That's interesting because you guys don't know, but the first real conversation we had between you and I were you were chewing my ass out for telling people where I was when I found something, and it's always nice to be chewed out by a lady. But you did. And I got it, because what I may or may not have found, well, that was gone when I came back. And this young lady here just roared into me and explained to me in no certain letters, like a good German can yell at an American, about how not to put a coordinate on places. And if you have noticed, I have not done so in any of the videos I've done ever since about that area. I get it. I saw.
But I think you make one mistake. When you stay on this area and you have your radiation and you can search for the place where it is, why you don't have to look what they why and from what from where it comes from. So you have made a photo, you have made it, you can see it, you can dig there. That is no problem. But you go outside and you put a film in internet, and so you are well controlled by German, and I was controlled by German. I know that, and you have the problem. You go out, put the video inside, and they go there and have a look for what you found. But for me, is a little question is why you found after when you come back, why you don't find anything, or what is. You must have in the ground some. One moment, I have here to translate it. I must translate it when I found the best word for it. Rest. Okay, rest is the same in German. You must have a rest of the material or the radiation. Why you don't find nothing? That is the question.
And that's like everybody will have written it off popularly. Even the local fire department came out. And it's interesting. It said, "Oh, there's nothing there. My equipment was broken." I was like, the day before, the equipment was teamed up with another piece of equipment, and it worked perfectly. So I don't know why it would break within one day. I don't. And the way I found it, it was less when I went to one way, then more when I went to the center. Then it was less when I walked away from there. That's not how faulty equipment works. Then the fire department from Jonastal came out and they tested. And they said, "Oh, they didn't find anything. It was bad equipment." And I saw the photo from where they said they went. And the photo from where the fire department was looking was not where I was. They were on a field somewhere. So maybe we should run the GPR over there sometime.
I think there's more associations, and I think there are more people with 3 letters on from the government. There are more. You have FBI and so on, and NSA, and with 3 letters, and the same we have in Germany. And you don't know who is coming there and found what you see, what you search for, and we don't know. We don't.
Speaking of, you were part of what happened when the was it 2 or 3 nuclear bombs were found in 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. You published a book on that as well. That disappeared. Tell people that story, because they really should hear that from you.
We have got from people who live in Arnstadt some papers, some pictures, and interesting for us is on the pictures you see a drill car with a drilling on it with camouflage paint, and it is from the Netherlands. And you have a group of cars in this part, all from Netherlands. And then he say, we get many people meeting in storage. They buy their meals and talk American with uniform of Netherlands. And then we have the information from the government. You don't have to go to this place on this hill. It is closed. And then they come to drill there. They go in the tunnel, go digging to this point. How they made it, I don't know. We don't know that. And then we have one couple, and they go there only for having fun on walk in the wood. And then they say, "Oh, it's going a big explosion under our feet." It gives a very big explosion on the 10th of June 2016. 10 June 2016. I must translate it. And so the problem is, they say for us it is a very big explosion in underground on this day. And we have this in our book to tell it to the audience. And so after that, we get a paper from the government and say, you can walk there and please check your georadar. We think you are not right.
Ah, so that's why you came back.
And the bombs are gone. Lovely story. It's a lovely story. Yeah.
Just the fact that, yeah, of course they would. So that's the problem in that area is why they can't know. And
I think that is the problem is we have a special law in Europe in the world. It is called broken arrow from the American, and broken arrow is only when they lost an atomic weapon. Then the American has the government law in Germany. They can say the police where they must close and so on. And maybe I think it comes by this law. The American want to take this bomb out for saving his own history. The problem is when we can say here are 2, 3, 4, 6 atomic German bombs like this little boy in Germany, in this factory, then the American history 1945 is crashed. That is our problem. And then I think they saved the history.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny because in America, they hardly teach history anyway, and they're busy rewriting it, so it shouldn't be a problem. Sadly. But so what you found so much more out there. Should we show them a little bit of some of what you actually do? Is this
I was so happy, and I get a private archive. And the problem is we don't know where this archive coming from. There's 2 or 3 ways that we don't know the right one. Everyone is telling us it is from General J is a name, but we don't know that right. But what we see in this archive, maybe it is coming from the Reichssicherheitshauptamt. It comes from the special organization of SS. And inside this archive, we have so much information about the working in a special. I must translate. Moment. Sorry. In the background, we have so much information in the German background 1945 what is not telling the truth in the sorry. I have a little bit in the sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, but the problem is I have no light here. And so I must search for my publicity. The problem is we have the problem in the public is the story, the history. It is really read and write. And now we must go for this archive, and we must think new. That is our problem.
Yeah.
And what we found is tunnel systems around this area, what I tell here by Odrov. We have tunnels for 100, for 50, for 150 kilometers in every directions. And when you think like a military, that is a wonderful tactic to save your area. When the enemy comes from one side, you can wait with this, on the border, and then you pick your army out of the tunnel behind him. You can find from everywhere.
Yes,
and that is fantastic. But so long we can make it. One moment. Next word. So we can't prove it. That is our problem. We must go in one tunnel and can say, oh, here, 150 kilometers straight like that. That is a tunnel from that paper, and then it is worked. But the problem is for us, we have only the story. We must beweisen, we must prove it. And that is our problem. And we have on our papers in Europe 4 big factories around an area factories with slave workers, more than 30,000 people in one factory. They built rockets, they built uranium, they built plutonium, whatever they stay in. You can make your photo number 5 if you want. And so for the audience, we have made some photos before that you can show you. And we have, you see that what we have here. No number. Oh, you must take 5. So that's one back, please.
One back.
One back. So that one. So it looks like. So, and when you see that, that is the information of one factory. Here is what they built, how big it is. Here stay where it is, and we have for that a card, a map. And on this map, the entrance will be maximum 30 meters away from the map. That is so fantastic. And now you please make one more, number 6. And a little bit bigger, please. So it's the wrong way. So here, no, one back. So, and here stay 19,400 people, slave workers, will be on 5 fabrics, on 2 fabrics for fecalien, and then will be died on 12 April 1945. That is staying in the middle of this paper. And so what we search in our archive and declare, we found 1,500,000 slave workers died in 3 factory areas. And maybe it is maybe. We have only the factories on the plan, and we see the entrance in the ground. And we make some georadar. You can make number 2, please.
Maybe.
We have time.
Hey.
We have time. We have time.
So this is number 2.
No. Number 2 is an elevator.
That's number 2.
Yes, and that is only an elevator. You see the form of the elevator in the middle, the brown one. It's looking like a rocket. And in our archive is standing the information, here is a rocket fabric. And why you found an elevator, what is looking like a rocket. They bring the rocket from the factory down up with an elevator in lying on the ground, picking up to the ground, and they transport it to the station to fire it. That is one. And you make now one picture back, please. And here is some picture from our searching in the Ostwall. It's the same. It's building 1935. And it is completely building with here is an elevator inside with a stair around. And there we can see how they built and why. And so we can use this information for the other place by they don't cook water like 100 degrees. And so they use it here, what we see, and put it in the next bunker, and the next tunnel is the same. And so we have an elevator with this place for a rocket.
Because they would build the same technique. That was one of the things that really started in the 30s. They were building the same way everywhere to make it easier. And to back that up further is what Werner Goldmann, Himmler's aide, he said a few things after the war. He said, 1, we built a lot underground, but we also connected a lot. And there was a lot of cavities and old mines under Jonastal to begin with. So when you start doing the calculations, if you have thousands of workers, you begin in 1932, and you start connecting some of the existing tunnels and cavities, it very soon, it actually becomes quite possible to build hundreds of kilometers. So it's not as impossible as some people might think, oh, that's a crazy number. It's really not. If you have a honeycomb that already exists naturally, you don't have to just have to reinforce it and build what you need. And Grothmann stated clearly after the war that they had hidden a lot, that they knew. Towards the end of the war, he said that they knew they weren't going to be able to hide it from the Americans, or to recover it. So they hid it. So they made a lot of hiding places. They covered it up. They camouflaged it. He admitted that. And he said that there's a lot of that hadn't been found. And I think this interview was in the late 70s. So it's backed up by statements by the people who were there.
Yes, that's right. And so it is. You must think when 1945 the Germans know the end is coming. The problem for us is we don't think like them. We think like 20,000 to 23. And 1945, the people have in their brain, they have, we win the war. That is only Endsieg. We win it. So the Führer has the special weapons.
Yeah.
And so we have a problem when you lost your land. So there comes an enemy army on the land, comes to you, and you say, oh, here's my big factory. So I close it. I close our tunnel and cover it, put some trees in the ground, and they grow and so on, and cover it. And the Russians don't found us. That is our time point now. We have found the factory by our archive, and we see what is inside, like rockets and so on. Please make picture number 3, please.
Yes, ma'am. 1, 2, 3. 3
here. That is right. Scanning in the tree here, in the hill here. That is vertical. That is not. We go down. That is right. We stay in front of the hill, and you see the entrance of the tunnel. At last time, the Germans put all in the tunnel, put it in and pick it in, and close the tunnel. So never found it till now. And we go there, say, oh, what's going on there? That it looks like a tunnel now. By the material is digging down. It goes down by 70 years. You fill it up, it is closed. But after the time, it goes down with rain and so on.
Yeah.
And so we see, oh, here must be a tunnel. We make our gyro down, go so like that, and then we see a rocket. You can make the next picture, number 4, please. And you see here, that is the same picture from top. And you see the rocket. And on the top, one on the side, you see another place, another object. We don't know what is it. On our card, this is a stable for have these unflying objects of the Germans. I don't know that is real, but when I stay behind and I put my fingers on, I say, okay, that is real. But here we have 2 objects seeing in this tunnel. It is a storage.
Yeah. And there was a lot of conversations about rockets being launched from the Jonastal area in April, March, towards the end of the war. Now, late 44. There was rockets that would have been seen being launched from the area.
Yes, and on this thinking, we are back to the Alpenfestung. You must know, old men say for us, we have 5 rocket center around the area of Arnstadt, Avo. And we have found 1 rocket center at the north. You can make picture number 11 this moment.
Oh.
You must close.
What?
11.
8. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. There you go.
No, one more. Therefore we come there. Here is it. So that is the photographic. We have 2 photographs from the georadar of this special place. We have 5, old men say we have 5 rocket stations to defend the Alpenfestung. And interesting is, Karl Fiebinger was a constructor of concrete and tunnel systems from Austria. He works there.
Yes.
And after the war, he goes to America and built the rocket centers of the American intercontinental rockets. That's fantastic. He starts here to work and to learn how to build that.
Yes. It's like, why would the Americans bring him over to build missile silos if he has no experience from before?
Yes. Yeah.
It's interesting that no, actually, I'll let you go on.
I only want you. You're right.
One of the things I was thinking is when you look at the way Patton's army went to Jonastal, went to Arnstadt very quickly, and they left the area. They stopped, and then they waited for a little while for the area to be fine. Then they moved around the area that was said to be the Elbfestung. The story about the Elbfestung in Austria, or down by Austria, where Patton's army was then sent, that was one that was fed to Allen Dulles in Switzerland. And it was always known that there really was no Elbfestung down in southern Germany. We know that now. There was no last stand. The SS was not there. Goering was in prison. But it was an Allen Dulles setup. And I think it's important to think about, if Allen Dulles wants the attention away from Thüringen, he will tell them, go here instead. So the whole army swung down to southern Germany while leaving
Your contact is lost.
It seems very possible to me. People, I mean, Himmler was in contact with Dulles through Schellenberg, through the Baron. Kammler most likely was in contact with Dulles. If they had done a deal with Dulles, then he would know where to look. Like, Kammler handed over Doa Mittelbau intact to the Americans. Then he handed over the Bergkristall intact to the Americans. And maybe what he wanted the Americans to have of Jonastal, but not all of it. It seems that there's a connection here of how they found what they found and how they didn't find what he didn't want to show them.
I have a little other information about. There's a soldier who is stay on the border of Alpenfestung in Avo, and then he goes to west to fight against the Americans on the west wall, and he goes in prison. And we have a big prison of army soldiers at Rheinwiesen. And we hear that the Alsos team searched for information at the prisoners in the Rheinwiesen. And they get the information that the atomic fabrik is in Jonastal. And that is what we hear. And so they give Patton the information, don't go to Berlin, you go fast to Ohrdruf and search for that. And this is the time when you go when you read the histories of Patton, what he write, then you see he goes straight. He is thinking about what is right and left. He goes straight to Ohrdruf and this area and to found what he can. And so the question is, he stay in the Jonastal, and we have information about the people who live there. They must close the windows, make it bleak. They don't stay out, and they hear what is LKW. LKW comes out of the Jonastal. They don't know what they take.
That's exactly right, and it's interesting when you look at Patton's armies, how they moved from the end of the war. They went straight to Jonastal or Ohrdruf, and straight from Kammler's place. They went straight from that Kammler's place to Bergkristall, Kammler's place. They went straight from Kammler's place, Bergkristall, to Skodawerke as fast as they could. Literally, Patton's army was tracking all the key installations Kammler had.
And therefore, I give special information about our archive. And that's the first time I will public that. I don't say the dates, but I have no in my brain. I have it only on paper. On our archive, will we stay? There will be 2 dates where Kammler and Speer gives the American a German atomic bomb. That is the way we buy the bomb who comes to America and then to Hiroshima, perhaps. The problem is we don't know why Speer and Kammler don't go dead in the Nuremberg process. We don't know why. And perhaps it is a deal what they made with the American. You stay us for life and we give us 2 atomic bombs. Maybe. We don't know it. But in our archive, we have the date and the place where it is worked.
Yes.
I have lost connections from you.
David in 1944 in October, and there was one, March 3rd in Jonastal, that there were several. What are your thoughts on the atomic bomb tests towards the end of the war?
We have 3 places in area. I made a video on my channel. The audience can see that. We have one atomic place in Poland by the city Nisko. There is a place, you can see it by Google Earth. You can see the place right now, what is around. You see the around where it's working. And then we have one explosion place at the island Bug in North Germany. There is a place. And interesting is a special friend. Hello, Dirk. Thank you for all. I think he looks for. He gives us very interesting papers what the Americans stolen in Russian archive. that's funny. 007.
So that's where that came from.
Yeah. So they give us American information with photographics from the Jonastal Ordorf place where is going atomic test. And so all say, oh, we must find radiation and that is wrong. They blast 100 grams of uranium in for explosion, and it goes up. And when you think about the bomb of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you must think about how many material goes in explosion. That is a funny question. You have 65 kilograms uranium in the bomb of Hiroshima, but 2%, only 2% will be going to get the power. The rest is blowing up. You need the mass of 65 kilos to start the explosion. But after that, the explosion is so fast that 2% going in explosion, but the rest is blowing up.
So if you, and that's why the Germans at the time was looking to make a smaller bomb, but more efficient, from what I understand, with a lower radioactive fallout afterwards. They even thought about that.
Yeah, but the problem is when you stay on the ground, you have a tower. You put 100 grams there. You have a very big electric I don't know the word. I'm not a atomic.
What's it in German?
You need radiation, special radiation to start the atomic blast, and so they make it with electric power, and they blast the electrons to the material, and then it is an explosion. But you can't make a bomb. What you going with a plane or with a rocket with cable with you to have the energy. That is the problem.
That is the tow rocket from hell.
Yeah. Everything is going on unplugged, but
America rocket with a tow cable.
Yes.
90,000-mile cable. Yeah, that's not going to work. You were in the Navy, I remember, right? In the German Navy.
Not Navy, Army. My grandpa is
Army.
in the Navy. I can tell it
That's-
where I started searching. My grandpa is the commander-chief of the bunker in La Palisse, where you see the film, the submarine U-boat from German. That is the bunker you see in the film. And in this bunker, my grandpa was till 1944 the chief of this bunker. And after 1944, he goes back to the commanding chief of Navy in Berlin. And we have the papers from that. They say, come back, we give you a special order. And when I was 5 years old, I sitting on his knees, and he tell me, I drive with trains in underground areas to save the technique of the great battleships and submarines. He is one of them who drive in the chambers, in the tunnels, and bring material in to save it before the bombings and so on. And that is what I show you sometimes, what you make in your film at Zopten in Sobotka. There he works. There he works there. And that is the starting of my searching in underground history. My mother was crying. My mother was so angry. I can't. We play when we were 16. We play in our group, in our children. I live here in Berlin, in West Berlin, and there were some ruins and so on. And we started to fire hand grenades. Why not? But I must tell the truth. We lost too many friends by they are too bloody to work with it.
I mean, it's called learning by doing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And for you Americans, you don't understand how much fun it used to be to grow up as a child in Europe, playing in all the bunkers and blowing up stuff with fireworks and whatever you found. Yes. Anyway,
I think
you can't get that from a video game.
I think it is nature choice.
Natural selection.
Yes, nature selection. That's right.
If you play basketball with a hand grenade, you're probably too stupid. So yes.
No. So I must.
And that was one of the things that. Oh.
I must say on this point. So we have so much fun in West Berlin. We have so much free. We are lucky that we live there, and that is interesting. We have. I can say it. It is no problem by law. We go to the drugstore and getting for the material for making the explosion by fuck. I lost the name. You need two poison to two aces and put it together, and then you put a certain one, and then you have the explosion by Dynamite Nobel. What is not dynamite?
Saltpeter and
no, before it was dynamite. What is the stuff before? Is
the nitrate?
Nitroglycerin.
Yeah, nitroglycerin. Yes.
Nitroglycerin. So you need two poisons with 1 and 1, and then. But the problem is you must do it winter. It is so much heating, and then it can be explosion. You don't do it at home. So we make it in the wood outside. There is no persons there, and you have two points. What is going on? Two choices. First, it is a very big crater there. You have an explosion there, or you have nitroglycerin, and then you can explosion some trees. What we do? That is my child time, or when I was young, older.
I remember my great grandmother when she was 90 years old. She had heart medicine. She got nitroglycerin for heart medicine. She had to take a few drops, and she was always very careful with it. She was afraid to drop it, and this was medicine. Yeah. What we did with it after she passed may have involved black powder and other things just to dispose of it, but we don't give you idea. It wasn't that bad to grow up during the Cold War. I mean, it was kind of interesting. It was an interesting time.
Yes, for me, it is wonderful. And that is, I must say, about the first time when the wall is open. I don't know that. I drive at my car for working in Berlin, and I stay in the middle of cars, and I don't know what is going on here. After the day, for a street, what I need to drive there for a half hour, I need 6 hours. I can't move. And so I come back and sleep and will make my television on and see on the news, the wall is open. What?
Yeah.
We must check it. And interesting is, then the third day, I go to the wall where it's open. They broken it, and I have a look behind. That is the first one. Before I was going that normally to East Germany and have holidays there, but when the wall is broken, that is for us no. That can't be. That can't be.
Yeah. That was the way it was for so many years, and it happened all of a sudden. I always say nothing happened suddenly, and it was of course instigated in some way, but for everybody it happened very suddenly. And interesting because it happened so fast. The Stasi archives were largely preserved, but what happened to all the question is now is always, for everything we're looking for, are there documents anywhere that will... My last hope is that it's almost impossible to get what we want from the American archives or the German archives. So I'm hoping maybe the Russian archives will have some of the things from Berchtesgaden, Jonastal, and Quartz, and all these places. Hopefully the Russians will one day share. Do you think it's possible to find anything?
I think it is more impossible possible that the American open something. The problem is, we have a war in the East. The problem is,
yes, I noticed.
Information from Russia is now, I think it's impossible now to get information about. So the next problem is, we have internet site where the Russian put information of German papers inside. But
yes,
who are the people who do that? You must have a question about that. The problem is, I know that there are people working there, read the paper and put the best information papers to the side. What you see in internet is what you have to see. They want to make a book or a film out of this paper, what they didn't put in internet. That is our problem. We don't know if all going to internet and we see all of the paper, or we see only what we can see by there is nothing more interesting inside the papers. That is my question.
We only see what somebody wants us to see.
Right.
And then
the same problem we have by the Bundesarchiv. It's the same problem. Yeah. They don't tell you the right truth. They don't tell you. They don't tell you. We have that papers. We have that papers. You have a look. What you get, what you can see, is not what is very important for your work. The same problem we have in Berg Archive. So for information about drilling and what is in the past going with. One moment. With mines. Oh, you're lost. You're there. Okay. With mines, we get no information what is going on with some mines on this place where we dig. So we get no. They say us together. You get no information. We don't know what you want to do with this information. So stop. No information. And the problem is, you must go back to 1945. The German army and SS and so on put all out of archives from the past, what they can use and for themselves, and what is telling the future, what is digging there. This is all putting out, and is no more information in archives by German government, 1945. It is out. Yeah, that is cover, that is safe.
And if you go back, it's interesting. It's a little bit like the trial of Nuremberg, which I always had a problem with. The biggest problem was that the defense lawyers were only allowed the papers the prosecution, i.e. the Americans, Russians, British, French, wanted them to have. The defense was only allowed what they were given by the prosecution. So they were never allowed a full picture to defend. Yeah. And it's the same thing today. We're only allowed to see what they want us to see, which is only the partial truth. Whatever suits them, even if we know that something's there, we request it. We're now looking at whatever. There's always leaks. There's little, like the stories. And it's interesting, like the American that wrote in 1947 his book In America about what the huge underground installation and the Führerhauptquartier he saw in Jonastal. In 1947 in America, there was no publishers that was really monitoring what American soldiers published. After that, there was nothing else mentioned. In the Nuremberg trials, there's no mentions of Jonastal or of nuclear development. It was all under the Alsos paper. It's not enough. They don't have anything. Don't look there. Kammler was not even mentioned. And an interesting person as he was, he had done enough interesting things that probably should have landed him an indictment at Nuremberg. The moment Speer started talking about, that was Kammler's demand, follow-up questions about Kammler and what he was doing. He was just not mentioned. And the only way for that is because Donovan and Dulles had made it clear to Jackson and others, some people and some things we don't talk about. And he was one of them. And the nuclear was another.
I think you must start a little bit before. The problem is the Cold War. And the Cold War is starting straight after the Second World War is ending. And when when Stalin sit with Roosevelt together in Potsdam, they are not friends. So they put their areas what they can, and they want to save it, and they know in this area what they can get. There are factories from the German, there are secrets from the German, and they want it for themselves and for their self-defense in the future. So when you see the Nuremberger trial starts at 20 November 1945. And I have papers here from the Berlin government starting at the first time on1st April in 1945 to rebuild the city. I have the papers from the Bürgermeister from the city. Bürgermeister in English. Mayor from the mayor in Berlin of Kreuzberg, and there stand very interesting stories. The Russian comes in the government of the mayor and put the new telephones from the American outside. They stolen the telephones. They have no, and so that is the first beginning of Russians against Americans. It is starting in Berlin, and the thinking is till 1961 we have the wall before the border is open, and so they work together, but they don't trust them.
And almost rightfully so. And then you had half of the scientists came to America, and the other half, and we talked about that yesterday, then you had the second tier, like America took the engineers, the people who developed the plans, but not the people who built the machines and the planes and the things. They went to the Russians. And we talked about that plane yesterday that the Russians rebuilt without the plans.
Then you must
that you
pick up
found.
then you must open the picture number. Oh, I lost picture number. Where is it? Number 8, please.
That one?
Number 8. Yeah. No.
That's 7.
That's 7. One more. 8 number.
That is 8.
Oh, there's one. Yes, one back. Yes, that's right. So that is a G-radar photographic from our plane. What we found. It is called EF 126, and you can put the next one. Oops, that's the half. I see the half of the picture. Oh, no, that's right. So that is the same airplane, but it is on the top of the airplane, and it is using with a power of the V1. That is interesting. And you can make the next photo, number 10.
And I have a...
Oh, we have time. So that is the only photo what we can get from this plane. That is V2, V1 Triebwerk. Moment. Heißt das? My school English is so old, and I stay 1 year in Egypt as diving teacher, but it's too far away in time. This is the engine. The engine of the EF 126 is the engine of the V1, and so we found this airplane underground under the Jonastal in the area of tunnel 5 to 7.
Wow.
And interesting is people ask, is there a tunnel underground, or are the tunnels in Jonastal only this 1 to 26? But we see under the Jonastal is more. And interesting story is that plane is crashed by the German engineers. They crashed the plane and they burned up all plans. So it is information from Wikipedia. And in Wikipedia stay more that the Russian comes to Dessau, where it is construction this plane, and they say, build us a new one. And they built 5 planes in Russia and test the plane. But they are not so lucky about the plane. It is not fast enough. And so the planes are destroyed in Russia. That is our story, what we have. But interesting is we found one in underground position under the Jonastal. So it gives more. And now you think about a place where you want Hitler to save before the enemies. We are on the Alpenfest. Then you need rockets, you need bombing, you need attack by jets, and so on. And this is one of the planes we found. And we found on the street of the Autobahn A4 a way for the planes out of the tunnel system to the Autobahn, and they can start immediately. It's wonderful.
I know. I went above ground to look for it, but obviously there's nothing to see above ground.
No, it is covered. There's a shooting range on this position, and we dig there with G-radar. We found a tunnel, we found all, but that is interesting. We have it, and for the audience, I have a video on my channel. Sorry, it's in Germany, but maybe we make the translated. But I am not so good for internet features. I'm lucky that I can make a film. Yeah, I'm 63 years old. For me, it's funny to I can live that. That is for me funny.
I mean, it's just, and isn't that the problem, that they cover it up, they build. The government will not, or the military certainly will not let us onto the property. I tried to be nice and asked. I got a network over here on board to document what happened just on the Truppeübungsplatz. I wrote as a PAO, public affairs officer in my unit myself. I wrote the public affairs officer in Ohrdruf and say, I think it would be nice to come and see the Truppeübungsplatz and document what is.
Can I stop you one moment?
Yeah.
Can I stop you? I was supporting in the German army. I was in the German army in the reserve, and I was have contact to the top of the army. So the second area of the minister, I have contact there, and I asked them. I write letters, and there's a very crazy running what is going on. I get to the person who is the chief of the museums of Bundeswehr, and he say no, and I talk to him 1 hour, showing him the georadars, showing what we found, and after that he say, okay, I'm interested, but when you ask me, I must say no. We must put it around. Go and ask the beamer. That is the beamer is the owner of the property. Yeah, is the owner. And the problem is, you must ask them, and then they ask me, and then I can say yes. But the problem is, we send the letter, and they ask other people. And they say no. I talk to the woman and ask why. I write it in the letter. Please talk to them. He say, yes, we want to go there. We want to help us, and we want to give the information what we found to the government. We have no problems. And they say, oh, we want to know what is going on the ground. We want to know. Please help us. Yeah. But I can't say yes. I can't say. That is our problem. They can't. But I ask me, who was the people who order you say no? That is the question. Maybe that is in German. In German, we say, I must translate it. It is hastening obedience. You understand? Hastening obedience. The problem is before they ask a higher people, they say, "Oh, I get problems. I say no, then I have no problems."
Yes. That is it. No one ever got fired for saying no.
Right. That is it. That is it.
And that's what's interesting. I wrote the public affairs in Ohrdruf. Seemed like a nice guy, and I introduced myself as the military reserve, PAO. I worked with this network. We would like to see what the rush build and what's there. So many stories. I think we should, document it and show people what's there to take away all the suspicions. And he wrote immediately. Actually, said, "Oh, that sounds like a really interesting idea. That sounds very." He was very positive. It's like, "Oh, that sounds very good idea. We should do that." I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, when I get back, I will try to find out what I will ask my superiors and get something done. And I wrote him back right away again. Outstanding. I look forward to hearing from you. Blah blah blah. It wasn't 5 minutes later. He wrote me back. "I'm sorry, it's impossible. It can't be done. Thank you very much." And I'm like, what happened in the last 5 minutes? Who did you talk to?
Yeah, that gives another story. I go for 2 hours. I go to the chief of the Thüringen Historical Association, the chief of them. I talk to him in his bureau. And interesting is, he tells me, when you found something, you can ask us that we make an historian special place. Then you can ask us for digging there. And we have so much rules that you don't want to open it. It's so expensive. You must
Yes.
have a special room before the entrance, that you must save the air in the tunnel. You must have the special against weapons and munition. You must save it, and you must have a special historian from us, and you must pay for them, and you must have this, and you must have this, and you have, and you don't want to make that. You can't pay that. That is only a trick by they don't want to open the history.
Yes.
Only.
And I see, and I remember hearing, I always make fun when I go, not just in Jonastal, but everywhere. If I'm in Austria, if I'm in Poland, if I'm in Germany, every time I go to an area that has special projects going on or used to have, I will see the little owl that says natural preserve. Everywhere we want to look, it's a natural preserve, and that means you cannot look here. You can't dig here. And when they leave Ohrdruf, one day the military will go away. All of it will become a natural preserve.
Did you remember about the place where you come from Gossel to Jonastal? There's a space, a small place for parking there. And interesting is, you see a small 10 meters thick and 100 meters long area, which is going with, they're growing trees. And in front is a science, behind is a science, that is a special area for nature. Yeah? But we know there are the tunnel inside.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's the problem, and it's a problem they have everywhere, because when all governments make it impossible to dig, to look, to research, and you're an archaeologist, so you should have at least have the permission. I have the same problem in Austria. I'm having a large argument with the BIG in Austria because I want them to simply show me all your photos from the Bergkristall that you destroyed. Show me, you surveyed everything. It's very simple. You destroyed it. It no longer exists. Show me the photos.
I have the first original Gutachten, a few what they write from the government about Bergkristall. And then they write at the first site, I translate it. They write it what you eat and what you get money from him. You have to talk and to tell what I want. That is on the first letter it stays. Yeah,
exactly.
And so and wonderful it is. They made a photo with 5 tunnels from the top to down, 5 tunnels, and in the in Gutachten is saying it is only 2 tunnels system, two tunnels over.
And exactly, and
how they say why they think we are bloody.
I don't think they care. I don't think they care what we think or what we know. They only care about the bigger picture. First of all, they have power. They have a bureaucracy. They have jobs. That is important. Their truth is important. What we find is not important to them because it hasn't been told. The problem from a historical point of view, just like with Bergkristall, of course, they didn't want to show the photos of what they destroyed. We're having more meetings. But if you make it impossible for researchers or historians to dig and look and excavate for our own money, then what's going to happen is, one, you're going to have history get lost, or you're going to have people do things illegally. They're going to find things they don't want to share because they know they broke the law to find them. So now the government won't know, they can't publish it, and more gets lost.
I think the story is a little bit other. The problem is they search by georadar. I see the films. They found an underground concentration camp, and information is, and that is the problem with our archives. Is the same. I say we have 1,500,000 slave workers down in the factories. And I think when they trained the slave workers in Bergkristall to run in the tunnel system when they hear the sirens from the air attack. Then they crash down the tunnels and have put in the slave workers and kill them. And I think the problem for the government is,
yes,
they don't want to open the tunnels. You must think about what is going on with the press. Think about, they open a tunnel and find 15,000 bodies, skeletons in white and blue trousers, clothes. And the problem is, the press makes for the Germans, they are I don't know the hate is more word of that. Yeah, but that is for the craziest thing for the Germans to say, we are the killing. There's so much people, and that is our past, and then they must put it in a really good graves. They have to put it out, and that is too much. It costs too much money. Then the government say, there is nothing, and we found something. Let the history closed. And I think that is the most problem of all. They don't want to crash the German history and the thinking of the people of the world against the Germany knew that they're so bad.
And it's very interesting, the way political presentation and propaganda works is that it is always the minister who finds the problem who gets blamed for it. He has to take responsibility. It doesn't matter if that minister today, when we uncover a mass grave, he didn't do it, but he is the one that has to stand up and apologize for it. Which is, of course...
The propaganda didn't stop at the end of the war. The propaganda will be running till now. The problem is only the schemes are changing.
Yes. I always thought that the Russians would want to show all the pictures and things from Jonastal and Ordorf and from Berchtesgaden now, because it would embarrass the Americans. I figure, well, let it out now. You started before the war to publish all this information in a public affairs war.
We must think about what is changing in our now life, in our life today. What is changing when we open the tunnel and when we say, what is here and what is there? Nothing. It changed nothing. It is only history. And we can wait 2,000 years or 1,000 years, and then we open it and it is, the Germans built something more. Then it will be crazy. Now we can open it and we can open it for only history, nothing more. But the problem is we have a special by neo-Nazis. That is a problem. They were scary about what they say. It's our history and it's our technical. We will win the war, but problems. So, and I think that is the same. Another problem by the government. They don't want to open it.
And it's very simple when people, they ask, why haven't we heard? Why will they not release the papers? It's a very simple, there's the embarrassment, there's the money, but when it comes to special technologies and nuclear research for the Germans, special rockets, they don't want to because, well, first of all, some of it is maybe have been secret still. You have papers from World War I that is still classified. So if it comes out, they will never let it out that, especially in Austria, if it turns out there's a small nuclear reactor at the end of Berchtesgaden, that would make the Austrians have to say, oh my God, we had nuclear here during the war and they don't want it today. There's all these problems for them they think is going to come, but it's really not.
I will show you one card I showed you yesterday. I make it here in my camera. You see that here. I hope it can be worked by the camera. That is a special place in Germany, and all red points are factories in underground, and the yellow one will be the entrance, and the blue one will be some treasure. And what we found about this, every point in the cards will be maximum 30 meters right and left. And interesting is, in the papers that they use all electric power by water, by hydrogen. That is very funny. We say, oh, we must make new power and save the nature and so on. But I think the technical of 1945 was very better than our now. And what we see in our archive, they tell that the archive 30 megawatt will be prepared by gas, by water gas. And,
wow, yeah.
Yes, but we must think about the first step, how they made so much gas. That is a question. In underground, you have tunnels where water is going there. That is no problem. Water in underground stations you have everywhere. But the problem is how you change the water to gas, to water gas. And so we must ask us why we don't use this technical. And now we tell all about we must do it by electric with electric in water. And so we have one for oxygen and one for water gas. And so the question is, they do it other and more. And we don't know who they made it. The problem is so much patents will be going out of Germany 1945. That's the problem.
Yes.
That we say we have some motors was running with water and so on, and the patents are safe. Put it in your box and close it forever. That you can earn money with oil. That is our thinking about to make money.
Yes.
But the problem is the technical is real in the world. We don't know that.
It's very interesting that you mentioned that, because already before the war, Heinrich Himmler was very much aware that energy and fuels was going to be an issue because Germany didn't have much. So Himmler started looking into the synthetic fuel production and alternative energies. And it was said, I know Joseph P. Farrell, he said his research showed that Himmler was tasked with finding 0-point energy, basically energy out of nothing, like the Himmler battery that will last forever almost. Now, if the Germans at the time of the war had come close to finding a way of creating energy out of very little or almost nothing, that would, for many, many years, have to be suppressed, even today, because we still sort of living the petrodollar, whether it's going to continue or not. But also all these silly electrical cars and solar panels and all this nonsense, it doesn't do enough. It's not efficient enough. And like I said, you've heard of the Himmler battery. It was just a little battery.
Little problem is this is a story. The Himmler battery is a story.
I thought they found it.
Nobody. You have one?
I saw a picture. I have pictures of one.
Yes, I have the same. The problem is, did you touch one? Then it is real. That is
True.
a problem. That is a problem for us. That's the same by my georadar pictures. I know that. Touch one and make a photo, then it is real. But the problem is that is give special information about what is. Oh, I search for it. We talk after that. Make so on. I must look for something.
But you're absolutely right, and I think there's a lot of the technologies that were conceptualized, they were planned, but they were not built yet. And I think a lot of those plans were some of the things that the Americans pulled out or they disappeared. And of course, that would be a very real economic issue today, even if all of a sudden somebody came out and said, well, we have something that will produce energy out of very little. It was not a friend of mine who used to work for Ford, just as an example of how they cover up technologies. In 1960, he worked for Ford, and they had built an engine that would run for 50 miles a gallon of gas in 1950s, late 50s. And they put it on the shelf, they hid it away, and the Ford 150 today still only gets 11, 12 miles to the gallon. There's a correlation between technology and energy and fuel that could very well also be a part of this. Because if they had all the big underground factories in Jonastal, they would need power, electricity to power all these factories. So an alternative fuel source would be something worth hiding. And thank you very much, Jerry. Did you find it?
I find it. Did you know Occam's rule? Did you hear something about Occam's rule?
Yes, sir.
That is interesting. I have found it in a series in cinema. Occam's rule is very interesting. You can read it by Wikipedia. That is interesting. It comes from computer. Internet in Germany is a crazy thing.
It's not much better in Los Angeles, honestly.
You think so? So it comes from 3047. It is 700 years old. And this rule means when you have more, when you search and research, and when you science something, and when you have more than one declare and Erklärung, Erklärung.
Declaration.
Ergebnis. Result.
Story.
When you have more story, one of more result. Then the smallest one is the best. That is Occam's rule. It is 700 years old, and it is the main way. You must talk about why they come with georadar, why they make it, how they make it. Take what you see and find the best way to understand what you see. That is the problem. And so it's the same with the technical. We only think so high and engineering. Water is only 100 degrees. Life is easier than we all make it.
That's true, but it's funny now going to metaphors. This is the tunnels under Germany is a little bit like Schrödinger's cat. Either it's there or it's not there. If it's there, if you believe it's there, it's there. If you don't believe it's not there, it's not there. But and there are. I mean, it's also like last time I was there, I've seen tunnels that were. Do you remember the old forester that dug the vertical tunnel outside of on the other side of the road that goes straight down and then it turns, where he found steel beton outside of the proving ground? There's a lid on it so you don't fall down.
I have to follow you now. The problem is your sound is breaking sometimes. We have a contact problem with the sound.
Yeah, it's this horrible internet thing. Is it getting better?
There are some miles between us.
Really? Do I have a? Does anybody else hear an echo or have sound issues? And we'll leave it out to the crowd.
I think in the last time it works, but so we stay and wait for better contact.
Sometimes. Let me see. I am connected. I am turned up. Okay. Sometimes the Wi-Fi goes up and down a little bit. We have very old infrastructure here.
Your people are waking up now and have a look in the internet, and now it is fill up. And by me it's the same. They want to sleep and go in the internet and have a few, and so it was some problems.
There's no sleep for people who want to know history. Damn it! You can sleep tomorrow.
Okay,
but it's.
Would you make more on our photos?
I think we should show the video of the tunnel you found.
What I sent you?
Yeah.
Okay, you can open it.
I think. Well, maybe I can open it. Well, we haven't talked about that. All right, we're just going to go. What do we have here?
Yes, that is the picture. That is a picture from a tunnel system. That is a picture from a tunnel system. What we search in Brandenburg in Germany, and there is a second another system. And what we hear is some information that Kammler goes to this tunnel system. We have more bunkers there. And when you open the next picture, please. Then we have searching with georadar this one, and we are on the top of the bunker. The yellow or orange, what you see on top is the wall about the bunker, and the points down are the stems inside the bunker for making a safety. The 1 moment, I must translate. The siling of the bunker for bombing attacks. So what we hear is a wonderful theme, that on the left side of the picture is an entrance for cars. There comes an old woman and say, "Oh, we have an entrance. We drive in the war in the bunker system with cars." And I say, "What?" And so we searched for that, and we found this bunker here. And we want to go inside. And can you make one picture back, please? So, and this was one of the entrance for the people to this bunker we found. I can't say where it is, but interesting is we have the permission to search there from the government. That is, we have, but the problem is the owner of the property has some problems with us. He don't want to pay for the digging. And in Germany, the owner of the property must pay the digging of history. That is a problem. And so we must search that what we found and what we search very seriously. But we have found the bunker and the system. We are on working there.
It all turns into money always, doesn't it?
It's all a question about money. Life is a question of money.
That's very true. All right.
So if you want,
this is amazing.
Yeah, if you want, you can open the picture number 7. That is one. Yeah, one back. So that's right. So that is my last video, what I put in my channel. That is a tunnel entrance from inside. The georadar can we move in 3D, so we can move behind and have a view in the tunnel. That is maybe, perhaps, we must say it so, we are not staying inside. And we think that is a big one to right and left, and perhaps it will be the entrance for cars and for transport cars. So we think. This photo is not completely, I must make only one photo for you. There's a second tunnel on the left side for people going into the factory. And that is what we can make with georadar. That is for us a wonderful thing to have a look. Where is something? It is not the truth what is there. It is only information, a small information what can be there.
That's why I wanted to show the video you made, because it shows people a little bit about how it works and how you did it, and how you actually do this. And I thought that'd be just a couple of minutes where you go over one of the things you found. And this is from Jonastal, right?
That is from Jonastal.
The video.
That's right. Yeah, it's from the video. I have the last 3 videos what I put in is from Jonastal.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Christel Focken calling from Berlin in Germany. We have a special video for you in Tino Struckmann's video channel Lost Battlefields. And I will show you especially GeoRadar opening for searching by tunnels and tunnel systems, rocket and so on. I will show you how it works. And the first what I will show you is here the specially 3D, what we can show in 3 axes. Before I will start, I must apologize me. My school English is not so good. I have to work in Egypt as diving teacher. That is wonderful time and I learn much more. But it is too far away in the time. And so I must have some problems in English. I hope you can help me and enjoy.
Your German is still viel besser wie mein Deutsch.
We have 3 axes and we have 2 or more parts to show our tunnel and to find and search. The first, what I will show you, is the contours of a tunnel. The first axis will show us the tunnel in this direction. Here you see it. I will show you and open it. So, and you see here it comes from behind in the front. And when you see the 2 blue holes inside, that here is the first tunnel and that is the second tunnel. When you open a hill, it will be better you have 2 tunnels. When one is broken, you can go out by the other. And the second, what we search, is a second axis. I will open it. And now you see, wow, here are 2 tunnels. You see it in the contours of the one tunnel, and here it moves at the second tunnel. But our view is going with GeoRadar, sometimes problem with the material around the tunnel, the stone, the rocket. That is crashed the one moment, I must change it in my computer for the right word.
I have the same problem.
The shine. The shine of the GeoRadar will be going not deep enough for the tunnel system on much moment, and so we have this tunnel not so good like the left one. So here is the next area, and I show it you this area. This is for us to see how high and deep is the tunnel in the position. Here is the first tunnel, left is the right tunnel, and here comes the left tunnel on the picture. And you see the blue one, the dark blue, is only free space. So it works here. I will show it you, and this is the first way to scan and to search for tunnels. Not search, search. So the interesting is we have 1 time more, and that is very exciting, very fantastic, I must say, and I will show it you right now. We go and open slowly, that you can see sometimes what is coming here. You see in the front the rest of the wall. I showed you on the left side. Then you see we are standing here what my mouse is. And you can see in this direction in the hill. You see there is the hill. It's not going deep. It goes right to the one moment, I need the right word now. Horizontal. It goes horizontal. So, and now I go deeper and deeper, and you see what I mean. Here comes 2 tunnels. We see it from the top. That is more exciting. here you see the right tunnel on the right side. Yeah, it's not so good in the shine, but the left tunnel is fantastic coming. And especially what we can make, we can see the tunnel from inside. I must turn 180 degrees back, put it in the middle, a little bit more, so. And now we can have a look inside the tunnel. That we are using on 2003. On the top of the tunnel, you see the holes where the lamps inside. To walk inside, that is maybe the entrance for the workers to go to their work. And what we have in our archive is, that is the entrance for an atomic fabric for making some atomic weapons. You hear right. We found some bombs using and working and viewing the same like little boy
you can stop the
what
video.
is
I
found
think it's enough
in Hiroshima.
So the audience can see how we work with georadar. I think it's a good information, and for us it's very funny to have a few insight before we thinking about digging and so on. We can have a look inside. Is there something inside? How open the tunnel is? How much material is in front before we can go in the tunnel? We must dig out and so on. It is fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. And we will be digging. We just need a few volunteers who have good backs and can shut up.
Yeah. So the problem is we stay with 1 feet in the jail. That is a problem, and I don't want to make something against the law. That is a problem for us. But sometimes you think about, we must go against this secrets, what they do. We must search and rescue and save this information. And that is a problem.
And a question I get a lot on that is, do I believe there's an active cover-up of this, or is it because now we are several generations of bureaucrats further, it is just more simple and safer to just say no? Do you think it's because they're playing it safe, they don't want to get involved, or do you think someone is actively covering this up now, still today?
The problem is, everything what we do when we open something is to kick the government in the ass. That is our problem. Everything what we do is they thinking about we kick them in the ass. That is a problem. I don't want to go against them. I don't want. No. I want to work with them. I want to stay with them and to say, okay, we open this secret. But the problem is, they made so much law against us that we can't picking up and searching for the rights of the work slaves. That is a problem. We must open their graves.
Yes, that's, and I see that. And then not only that, you have to have specific experts. Like in Austria, you can't go dig unless you have somebody with a PhD who's an archaeologist who went to the government-sponsored universities or work for the organizations that generally say no, which makes it even harder.
But there is one organization in the world we must ask when we want to make pressure against the government, and that is
the CIA
in Israel. That is in Israel. Yes.
Oh, yes.
But
yes, I know where you're going.
I have a loss of my camera. Now here's yes.
No,
That is only what we can make when we want to make pressure. We
Yeah.
can go to Yad Vashem and we can ask them if they help us to open and to save the graves. That is only the problem. But there is a second problem for us. We must moment. I have the beweisen. We must prove that. That is our problem. The same what I tell before by the gold train. That's the same. That comes every time behind us. But when we have one tunnel open and one tunnel is correctly like the same in georadar, then the gold train is proof behind. Yeah, then we can, in the past, we can prove the gold train. But we must make one we must have. That is a problem. I make a video from me. I stay in the tunnel completely out of iron. I show in the tunnel what is here, what is there. And then I go on the top, make a video with georadar. And they say, no, we don't accept this truth. I have no chance. I have no chance.
No. Where do you go from there? It really it's interesting that there is such an adversity towards this history that nobody wants to know, because it really wouldn't affect most people today anyway. It is just history.
Yeah, but it's a crazy history.
They're not being it certainly
connection loss.
It is, and it's very sad.
Yeah, that is
so
our
one thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we never talked about this, but I'm curious about your thoughts, because this is from what I understand your specialty, about the nuclear factory out in Poland. Not the Riese area, but a little bit east of that.
I know.
I think we talked about it after I did an episode from the brewery out there. Yes. You know something more about that place? Anything you can share about that? Because you're the expert.
We have all cards, and we found every place in the cards, right in the digital model from the grant. It's everything, every parts there, 30 meters from the cross in the card. There is the point in the ground. That is, we found it. We have all, and you know the entrance of Zopten. You see it, you make it in your video, and that is real. That is the main entrance of the train. They drive underground, and they go in underground in the factories with trains, and they have a railway station there, and they have more and more. We don't think how much and how big it is. We don't think so.
What's the story behind that underground factory? When did that start, and what was it?
Can you repeat?
What was the story, the history behind that underground factory? What was in there?
The history is the same what we have in Thüringen. They are rockets, underground factories for nuclear. They made uranium for atomic power plants and so on. We think so, and that is a question. We can't prove that when we don't go in. That is the same one. The cards say everything right, but the question is, when the cards are right, why the information is not right? That is not understanding. The cards are right, and information must be right, like the same.
And the problem in Poland is the same as it is in Germany and Austria. They won't let you look, I'm guessing. This is also a query that's not making it easier.
Sorry, I have a problem with understanding your English.
The Polish, they will not let you look or dig either.
Yeah, That is the same problem with Gold Train. The problem is on 2015, they closed by law in Poland every digging and searching with metal detectors, with georadar, everything. You don't go in the wood and or searching everything. When the police came, they have the rights to take your car. That is a question. When they when they can catch you in the wood and you are searching with metal detector, they can take your car. That is only by law. And the problem is, after that time, they have the same problem with they don't want to have German people in the working of Poland history.
Yes.
Yeah, they want only Polish people for that. And
why? Was there some problems?
no, that is the same problem what we have in Germany. They all want around Germany. They have their own interesting on their country. I am a German. I am a Polish. I am a France. I am an English. In German, we can't say German. That is a problem with Hitler.
So
but around us, they want to say, I am a Poland and I am in Poland. I am great. And so I say, no Germans work together. I have the problem. I stay in Poland 2007. The Polish government at the Ostwall, the city, makes me as honored
citizen.
no, not citizen, Botschafter. Moment.
Yes, I don't know the English word as
ambassador. The city of the East Wall makes me 2007 as only one people in Germany as private historian ambassador of honor. So that is fantastic for me. But the problem is now they come to me and I want to talk with them and they say, oh, we can go and drink every beer. That's no problem. But no political talking, no historical talking. I can't. I lost my job.
No history talking?
No, that's okay. They can't talk with me so official in his job. Private, he goes with me drinking beer. That's no problem. But he don't want to talk with me everything what is going on his job. That is Poland now.
Holy shit! How did somebody in Poland go to the government and say, we want a law that nobody can look or we take their car? How? Why did somebody do that?
So I think you have a better chance like us. I am from Germany. You come from America. America is a partner of Poland. German is a hate of we have make some problems in 1939 in Poland.
All right, you just pretend to be Danish, and I'll do the American front talking. No problem.
But that is a problem when you come as American and ask for a license to dig there, to search there. It is a better chance for you as me, as German.
It's just, to me, when you say, but even I can't go with GPS or a metal detector because they passed that law in 2015. And I keep asking, why would you pass a law making it illegal to look even without disturbing the ground unless you have something to hide?
I lost. Okay.
Did you lose sound?
Can you tell again? Can you tell again?
Yeah. Why would the Polish pass a law making it illegal for anybody to use GPR or metal detector?
That's the same that's the same like in Germany. They don't want to show what they have in ground.
So they're hiding something.
Too much treasure are in Poland from the German government digging covered there, and so the Polish is not so heavy with money, and so they have the problem to search more for digging and for searching for get money. And perhaps they found a treasure, and that don't want the Polish government.
That's what I'm thinking. If there's a law making it illegal to look, that is because they know there's something to find. If you are an honest government, if we could find one, and we have nothing to hide, you can look at everything, no problem. If we have nothing to hide, look at the archives, no problem. The only reason I can think of that they hide or refuse us to see underground or in the papers is because they know there's something to find.
Yeah, but the problem is the problem is the same by every person about the honesty.
Yeah.
When you found something and you can go to your government and say, "Oh, I have found something," and they say, "Oh, we give you 10% from the from what you found," and then it's okay. Then it will go better. You see, it is in Bavaria, in Germany, the same. There you can go and you found 50% of what you found in the ground. The rest is for the honor of the property. The problem is so much treasure what is found in other countries in Germany, they bring it to Bavaria to say we found it there. And they have no problem with law. That is the problem.
Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking. If you make it impossible for people to look, people are still going to look. They're just not going to say anything. And then they're going to steal what they find because they're afraid to tell, or they hide it and history gets lost. Just for example, if I went to Poland and I find a German World War II dog tag, a shield of somebody who died, I take it home as a souvenir. But somewhere in Germany, this man's great-grandchildren are looking for his grave. But I don't say anything because I'm not allowed to find it. You always have to document what you find and tell. I guess we have to go to the UN or the EU and petition for the laws to be changed.
Yes. There is a second law in Poland that means that every parts of what you have in Poland till after the end of the war, the 8th May of 1945, everything what is built and found after this time that can't go out of Poland. That is a law.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and therefore everything is closed. You can't take anything out of history parts. That is, I think it's good for the history, but the problem is so much things what you find is no interest. What you have, there is no interest.
And if you find something, it's not registered, and then it just disappears because people don't want to give it up.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Which is, we have to be realistic. I bet people find things, if they find out, oh, I can't keep it or it's illegal, I'm just not going to say anything. Yeah, and that's not good. That's bad history.
The first step is to make it in money, to change it in money.
Yeah. One problem with archaeology in Denmark, my grandmother was an archaeologist in Denmark. The problem is if you build a house and you start digging for the foundation, and all of a sudden, here's a Viking head or skull or skeleton or anything old. Now you stop digging. Then you have to wait for the National Museum to come in and excavate the whole area. That could take a year or two. You don't get paid, you don't get compensated, and your house is not getting built. You may lose the money.
Yes.
So and people, they find things.
And in Germany,
people then they.
And in Germany, you must pay the completely historian work.
Yeah.
In Germany, you must pay for it.
And reality happens is if I build a house and I see a Viking horn and I have millions of kroner or dollars on the line, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm going to hide it and build my house because I can't afford not to. Yeah. So that is a problem.
That's the same by our work. By this law, they destroyed the same their own founding. What they have, everyone is not tell them the truth. Then you build a house and you don't want to see what they've built here. Crash it down, put it down, and then make your house on, and nobody knows what is there.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the problem of this law, and yeah, it's not enough to talk about more. I think so. We can't change it.
Well, the only thing I can think of is actually make a law proposal for the EU or the UN of the research, the open, honest research and protection of history. That could, well, it can't get any worse. So we would have to go bigger.
Good idea, but the problem is you must dig there first before you see if is it real interesting found. That is a problem. You can't say before what you found, what you want to found. You must have found. You must have it to identification, and then you can say, okay, we found a treasure or some old what is going in history. That is a problem. Before you dig, you can't say that.
Okay. This is one of the things I wanted to do for the longest time, to propose a general law for hobby historians to have rights as well. I actually talked to a few international lawyers about how to propose this to the UN or the EU. I don't really like either of the organizations, but we have to work with the cards we have. That's something we can talk about more, how to at least have the presentation and see what they generalized. The worst thing that can happen is they say no, and they say no anyway. So what the hell?
I think they have more interesting and important things to do as to think about what we have problems.
But we could stop them from being more important ideas of destroying Western civilization for a little while and go ahead and talk about history instead. Maybe we can slow them down. Maybe. They're not doing anything good anyway.
We can't change the history, we can't change the day, and we can't change the future. We hope we can make our work, and we can hope to found what we search for. But everything what is in the future is only it's maybe and hope.
Yeah. Well, at least we can try.
Yeah.
And
without try, you have no hope.
That's true. Hope is all we have left. We're going to keep trying. Right.
I have contact lost. I hear nothing.
Now you froze up.
Yes. Here. Now you are there.
We're back.
Yes, you are back.
I said, I guess I will see you in a couple of months.
You're welcome.
Are we losing internet again?
Yeah, I think we have a problem now.
Okay. Well, I guess that's a good time to stop. We did a couple of hours. I will see you in a couple of months.
If you have some question from, sorry.
That might be a good idea, because I've seen a lot of questions while we've been talking. This would be a good time for you to ask your questions. Now that you have us all here. So yes, now all of you who asked questions for the last 2 hours, please write them again. Or Machine, did you pick up on any questions that you remember? So now you got to stop talking to each other, and now you got to.
Did you tell the question what you want to ask? I think you must ask the question, and I will answer.
Well, I was waiting to see if there's anybody in the chat that had any live questions for us.
Yes, I see the questions, but I have no overview to see what is going very interesting.
I'll highlight one if I see one coming up. Well, okay. I don't think anywhere you went. Any radiation? Did you find any radiation anywhere?
Yes. Yes, we have a tunnel system in our archive, and we go there with my radiation part, and we walk there, and sometimes goes up, and I say, oh, we are right here, but we can only see the entrance of the tunnel in the ground, but we can't go in. That is the same problem what we have ever. But when the radiation is going high, so maybe it is possible when they stay here, our radiation center, and they made something with uranium, and you go there and your radiation part goes up. That must be the same.
Okay, this is an honest question. So I guess what's the coolest thing you ever found?
The coolest thing whatever found? Oh yes, that's a hard question. That is a hard question. The coolest thing what I found is a Kettenkrat. It is lying in the sea right now. We go diving there, and we found a Kettenkrat. And after the problem is it was too much Schlamm, dump. No, Schlamm. And I must touch it. I must touch it. I can't see anything. I touch it. I feel the chain. I feel the wheel to in front, and I say, oh, that must be something hard, metal. And after that, I go to the museum and close my eyes and touch it again, and I say, oh yes, it's a Kettenkrat.
Was Poland off Germany a lake?
Yeah, it's Germany by Berlin. And the interesting is, after that, what I make my videos in internet, more and more people comes to me and telephone me and say, oh, we have here something and here something. By the old Leipzig, we have 3 tanks in the ground. Yeah, they say, oh, there was a hole, and the American people, the American soldier, pushed the tanks in the ground. They have so much problem. Childs are playing on the tanks, and so they put it in, but they don't close it. So the children play on the tanks the same, and so they say, okay, we close it with sand, and they put sand over it, and so nobody knows there are tanks underground. And after the war, in the time, they put more and more in, and it is closed now. We have the tanks, 3 tanks. We don't know which type it is, but interesting is we have 3 tanks. And nobody is interesting to get it out in a museum or something else. We have 3 tanks there.
Am.
Yeah. And
why don't we dig them up?
I have a video in this. We found 2. We have in a video we have 1, but we have completely 1 fantastic scan of an half chain car. Yeah, and we have completely. We can see inside the position of the cannon and so on. We have all. Nobody is interested in that.
Well, I think we should go dig tanks.
Yeah, that's the same problem. Who wants to make the work? And what we do after that, the problem is we have a car, and the government say, oh, we could put it in a dump, make it metal, and put it down. It goes not in a museum. That is our problem. So let it there.
If I have a lot of tank collectors over here that would probably pay an arm and a leg for an old German tank to restore. So that might be possible.
Ask them. I tell them the position, and when they put it out, I have my first time when I was correctly say I have touched that what I see on my georadar. No problem.
All right.
I earn no money on this. It's no problem. I only want to say the position and to dig it out, and I can say, here is my photo. I stay on my georadar.
Just, I only want to help you do that.
Yeah, we can.
All right, we have another question.
I have a question, a little bit. We talk about a front. I will show the audience in America. That is here my last picture, my book here, what I say about the Alpenfestung. And we want to talk to ask some of the audience if some writer is in America and wants to make my books in America for translate and for selling the books. I want to search for a writer to make it. He has contacted me by email. Is no problem. You find it by Tino, or you can watch my channel.
Yeah.
There's an email address, and we need a private printer.
You need a book publisher. You need a book publisher in America and England to get all your books out in English. And we really, really do need that, because so much information is published in other languages that the English-speaking people don't get. So yes, we are all looking for publishers for you, and definitely something that needs to be done.
And I have the rights I have the rights for 12 books. We can start very hard.
And translation shouldn't be a problem.
Yes,
good point. Right. Good point.
You have some questions.
Magnetic readings on any of your locations, or will you ever take any?
What is meaning with magnetic readings? What is the question about that?
Are you talking about electromagnetic or magnetic?
No, georadar is like the radar on the airplanes. We send an electric signal in the ground and get empfangen. Oh Gott, Jesus. Recount. It recount back, and then we can use it. That's too much technical.
So
we use the back coming shine. We put the shine in the stone, and what coming back, the computer makes a picture from. That it works. No, it has no electrical and magnetical. That is not working like that.
Exactly.
Question.
I'm just.
I have an answer to Spaceman Leo. A Kettenkrot is worth more than $100,000. Now is finding one in Poland. I have one in Berlin. You can ask me. I make it for $50,000. I make it for $50,000.
All right. What's the next hiking day or Waffenplatz in Ohrdruf? Patrick, I don't know. As soon as I get out to Europe in a couple of months.
I hear something. 3rd of June. I hear something about that. 3rd of June. In this time will be open to go on the Truppenübungsplatz.
Okay. Oh, really? In the Truppe, there's going to be a Führung there in the place.
In the place, it's open day. You can go.
Is that just for the Kaserne, or that for the memorial, or?
I don't know. I think it's the whole place.
Really? 3rd of June, you say?
I hope so.
Will you let me know so I can make sure I'm going to be there?
I blockade everything for the stage.
Well, you know, the moment you and I show up, they're not going to let us in.
Why not?
But
the problem is,
the back door.
I hear that you can't go for yourself on the place. I think you must take a wagon, and you will be drived with a car around this area. And what the status of your?
Oh yes, I'm sure they're not going to let us drive ourselves.
I can't.
I have
I
a
can't
Polish.
tell. the status, I can't tell it. By the army takes it out, and so we don't have any information where it is. We have talked about it here in Poland. Yes, but the problem is the bombs are out, and we think it's gone to America.
That makes sense. I'm seeing anything. Thank you all. I think our people are going to bed. Yes, I know. I saw about the link. I'll change it afterwards. Apparently, the link I put up for your channel didn't work, so maybe I did it wrong. I have to fix, but I'll fix that in a minute. You want a Kettenrad? Well, you know what, Spaceman Leo? I have a friend of mine in Michigan. He builds Kettenrads. And
yes. New one or restore old?
So you can have a new one.
Okay.
He builds them, and he builds a Schwimmwagen as well. But he builds them new according to old design. So if you want one, you can actually works out in Michigan by Flint. And I filmed out there. He also have in Hetza. And a couple of other Americans have all sorts. All the old German stuff came to America. So yeah, you got to come over and drive some tanks one day. What did you do in the army?
I started in Munster by the tank school.
There you go.
And I make some times in testing, and I stay in the ground, lying in the dirty, and have some fun with weapons. That is only. I was a supporter. I was a supporter for the army, and now I have I was 63, and now I don't go to the army and have some fun there. But it was a funny time before, and why not?
Yeah,
tank driving.
It was. It was.
I have 2 videos in my channel where I make my driver license for a T-34. I have 2 videos inside.
It's a hell to pull that thing around. I mean, the driver in the T-34.
But absolute only funny. That's funny.
It is.
Yeah?
But it's a lot of work.
I think every person in Germany and all over the world must have a T-34 in his garage.
Okay, they need to start building some.
Or some other things, but Leopard 2A is not available.
Have you been doing any digging in Spain?
No, too far away.
I wanted to go to the Canary Islands to see some of the submarine tunnels from the war, but one day.
I can't pay anything for that. The problem is we are only we are on the position right now by Corona, 2 years lost. Only what we take on money, so we eat it. It is from hand to mouth.
Yeah.
There's a problem now.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, someone is asking if we can do this again, and obviously I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, but I think I see no more new questions here.
Yep. All right. Will you let me know about the Führung if you hear a date so I can post it? And
I think we make it easy. We have contact by email, and so
you and I will absolutely. And I will be out there.
When it is something important, we talk by video here.
Yes. I'm going to send a link to some of your books to my manager, who knows some publishers, to see if she can push something.
Thank you.
We'll see. But I'm coming out there mid to late April. I'll be in Europe for a couple of months, and I will let you know so we can meet up.
Right. You send me an
And,
email and then we contact. I
and,
understand. We have a good restaurant in, you know, we can eat something. The audience must know we meet us there, and
as long as there's cute waitresses and beer, I'm happy. It doesn't take much.
I think it will be 3 years ago. Yes, 3 years ago.
Two.
Okay.
Two.
Corona has a problem. 2 years lost, and I have no feeling about the time.
I know. I mean, you know, after 30 years old, you don't need to watch time anymore. It's just one of the.
Okay. Okay, then we can stop right now.
I will see you in a couple of.
Hello, Chris Homko. Thank you for watching. I'm sure they want to magnet fishing in Berlin. Yes, you can fishing there, but the problem is we have so much videos from a German group. They were magnet fishing in Berlin, and it's all cleaning. You find nothing.
Been there, done that. All right. So we have some secret communication on email later.
Yeah, and so I think that is not the last video what we make on the internet. I think they're coming more next time.
Maybe I can talk you into coming to that place in Jonastal with your GPR, and we'll take a look under that intersection.
Yeah, and so we make a completely full video about searching from beginning in the computer with no changing the view on the computer and see what we found. That is one sentence in one video. So never can everybody can say we are fake something. That is very important. Okay, I'm proud that it works now, and so I think have a nice day next week. And for you is Sunday now, or is Monday?
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday. Okay, I have a very good Sunday, and for the audience, thank you for watching.
Gute Nacht, schönen Abend, auf Wiedersehen.
Vielen Dank, tschüss und auf Wiedersehen.
Tschüssi.
Vielen Dank, tschüss und auf Wiedersehen.